corset, overbust corset, guys. That is what we're making today. If you're just joining my channel, thank you for joining. If you have not subscribed, please do subscribe. Okay, now we are making overbust corset today. Okay, so it can be gown, some wear it on skirts, but for this pattern it is a gown dress. It is a gown that I'm making with it. So let's go. And this is the calculation I'll be using. Now this is the calculation: shoulder, bust, waist, hip, half length, gown length, nipple to nipple, bust point. Okay, so make sure you have your calculation before you start. All right, so this is the calculation I'll be using. Bust, waist, hip will be divided by 4, shoulder 2, and the rest of them. All right, now you already know whenever you're sewing, you fold your fabric into 2, okay, for your cotton. So it has been folded into 2. Have that in mind. Okay, then we'll start marking out all the necessary measurements, starting with our shoulder. Okay, now I'm definitely starting with the basic measurement. Have that in mind. Your shoulder, bust, waist, hip, bust point, under bust. So basically want to mark out all the basic measurements. Whenever you're cutting corset, the basic measurement is very important. Like, it is necessary you do that. Okay, so I'm cutting it out first before continuing. All right, so that is our blouse length. Okay, the next thing is to take rule and connect them all out, mark them all out. That's my bust points, under busts, and waist. That is the half length. Okay, we just need to roll them out. Then you draw our blouse length, guys. So that is it. What next? I need to connect the shoulders. Connect the shoulder to the bust measurement first. That is it, our shoulder. So guys, remember this is corset. Okay, now your boning can be outer, it can be inner, whichever one you want. You can have your boning at the lining, the one you use to turn it, or it can be on the fabric itself showing. Okay, so it doesn't matter. What matters is whatever you decide to do on it is your choice. But what we are basically cutting right now, going for, is overbust corset. Okay, like the samples, the ones you're seeing here, it can come in any shape. So your design is you by choice. Now what I just marked right now is the bust measurement, the waist and hip, without allowance. Yes, without allowance. Okay, good. That is it. Okay, our basic pattern, that is what I just marked now. So after doing that, we just need to, know what the lines are for first. So that's my bust point bust, my under bust, and W for my waist and hip for my blouse length. Okay, next thing is to start marking my nipple to nipple. Yes, that is my nipple to nipple. Now I'm using it for the distress, the person's nipple to nipple. I'm going for 8. You connect the lines straight. It is very important you connect the lines. Now once you have done that, the next thing is the under bust. Okay, but first let me curve the armhole in. Let me curve the bust point in. Now the armhole have been curved. Take 1 inches by both sides. Okay, use rule and connect to the bust point. The bust point is usually the point of connection between the upper chest and the under bust. So now remember we are dealing with upper chest. Okay, the armhole, if you start connecting your bust right at the armhole depth, is no longer upper chest. So you can see I extended it by 2 inches above. Now yours can be 3 inches above, yours can be 4 inches above, whichever one you please is okay. Now if you watch the orange dress, orange corset is upper than every other corset on this picture up here. All right, so you can see it. Now that I did 2 above my chest point does not mean that is what you do. Bust point, bust does not mean that is what you do. Yours can be higher. Okay, but if your connection is by the waist, then it's no longer an overbust. So once you have marked it straight, you connect your straight line. Now I can either at this point connect the dart, or I can equally use that of the shoulder. Depending on the one you're going for, mark your shoulder, slant it. Okay, then you get the middle of the shoulder, know where it is, get the middle of the shoulder, mark the point, that is the middle. Then you get rule and connect it straight. I can easily use this pattern, just mark half by the bust, okay, and connect if I want to. All right, but you can equally extend it your shoulder depending on the kind of neck you're going for. Okay, depending on the kind of neck line you're going for. Now it will not connect, so I need to use that is the middle. I'll just use the long rule and connect this. Yeah, that is it. Now I can easily work with this long one, so what I'll just do is the other side of it has already served that half. Okay, the other side too, I'll take half. So you can use your shoulder to take the dart, or you take the dart on the straight line. Yeah, or you take the dart on the first line I drew earlier. You can see what I did. Like I said, that is 6. You can extend it if you choose to. Alright, you can decide to go half inches more if you think it's too down. Now the center point is my bust point. Every connection intercepts there or meets there. Now by the other side, I'm taking half inches. Okay, the half inches, I've taken half inches in the other one, so I'll be taking half in this. You see that? And let me add the half inches back. So currently we have 5.5, more like neck depth. Okay, 5.5, or we call it illusion. Now for your neck depth, you can see the one of milk color or gold. That should be milk color or light gold. You can see how the curve on the chest is. So whatever curve, even if it's V, you're going for. Now if you think your depth is too small, you can go up more. All right, any kind of neckline you desire, you use your French curve and connect it. But for me, I will prefer after sewing. What do I mean after sewing? After joining the parts together, I'll prefer we go for the neck after joining the part, sewing it, after making the complete dress. When it's time to turn it with lining, then you take your time and draft out the neckline you want. Now because I want it snatched, I'll be drawing in another waist by another dart by the side. Okay, another dart. Now remember, this dress I've not added sewing allowance. I'll still do that. Then you use your rule and connect. The snatching is more important at the waist, so that is where you take the dart intake and connect it down. Okay, now you can leave your. Now I'm taking out all the allowances. That is the dart intake and sewing allowance that I just added. Now at the waistline I did total of 5. At the waistline I did total of 5. Okay, for my sewing allowance, that is what I just marked. I will equally mark it on the bust. My sewing allowance, no much dart intake at the bust, so I'm going for 3 inches. The same with the hip. Then I'll connect. Now you can see that it's looking as if it's a D effect. Don't worry, after sewing the shape will be in back. It's looking like the waist is big, right? Yeah, so after sewing it will be sorted out. Okay, so you curve. Now you can see where I'm cutting off. I don't need that. If I'm to add yoke, I'll just keep it as yoke. Now I'm cutting my dart first. That's what I'm cutting. Now when cutting the dart, you have to be careful. So that is it, guys. Now let me bring this close so I can be able to cut. Now the waistline, your corset can come, the down part of it can be in any shape, in sharp V, alright, or in any way. But first, mark your waist 2 inch below your waistline. Right, that is what I, at most 3 inches below your waistline. Then you curve. If you want it in a curvy part way, moving towards the center front, you curve it. You can see how I'm placing the French curve. Or if you were going for a V, you get your rule and connect the V. Whatever design you want at the down, you do that. Okay. And because what I'm going for is a gown, all right, so I'll be leaving space when cutting the down part. Now first thing first, on the armhole, you can easily leave it this way, the way it is now, or you can see how pointed the one on my right hand is. If you want yours this pointed, you curve it this way, all right, you curve it this way. Remember the neck too will be cut for you to have that effect. If you want it straight, it's matter of choice. So anything you want as a design up there, that is what you work with. First, I equally need to cut the dart, the second dart. Good, that is it. And you cut. You can see how I'm cutting the armhole. All right. Now, if you're cutting the down, give it some space. Don't cut accurately where you want. Give it some space at the down. That is more like the sewing allowance, to be on the safe side. Okay. To be on the safe side. You can see the space I'm giving it. After sewing, I'll still record that. So basically this is the front, okay? Now we need to cut the back. I've labeled it 1 2 3, makes it easy for me to. I will equally name the fabric when I do the cutting. Now this number 3, I will need it when cutting the back. You know how deep your back is doesn't matter. What matters is the side of your front should match with the side of your back. So that is why I'm leaving this number 3, so that when I place it, I'll be able to get the height and length, and that is the height of the other one of the front. The joining part, you know, they need to be the same height. So that's why I'm leaving it on the table to get pattern for the back. Now this is the pattern I'll be using for my back. First I need to fold. Now you already know the sewing allowance and front are not the same. Okay, so you need to put that into consideration. So now basically what I'm marking right now, I know it will be there will be the back will be laced. All right, I'll be using eyelet and all the rest of them for the back. Now I'll be cutting out this part. There will be no zip allowance on this because there's no zip, though there will be zip on the skirt, the down part that will make it a gown. There will be zip, but this particular one there is no zip. All right, so what I marked out right now will be cut off. Okay, it will be cut off. Now I went for 2. All right, now I'll just get my back pattern and place. But first, let's mark. So 7.5. Sorry, my bust is 9, my waist is 8. You already know I started from the paper, not the one I marked out that I'll be cutting off. No, the waistline, the half length, I'm going for 24. Then I'll place this. You can see where it ended. I'll just indicate where it is, so I'll be able to know where to end. Exactly the same design I did at the down part, depending on what you want. Now I'm marking my accurate measurements. That's what I'm marking. Then you connect. Once you've done that, you mark your nipple to nipple, starting from the beginning. Now you mark your dart. Basically you're taking half inches, you know, our normal waist dart, but you connect it to the up. Now you can have at this back, you can have more than one dart if you decide to. It's your choice. That is it. Now the covering of this back is by choice, whatever you want, okay, whichever way you want it. If you want it to be straight, good. You want it to curve down, yeah, it will be cut off. Okay, that is for the back. You know it will be laced. So you curve. Whichever design you prefer, that is what you go for. Okay, so guys, if you're still watching, please do subscribe to my channel. All right, then you cut. If your that down is what you want, you go with it. That is it. Then you cut the side. Now if your back is straight, you can decide to go with straight. You can decide to give it a V at the back. Remember that cut off part will be thrown away. I'm not using it. Now whatever you want to do on the back of your neck is by choice. It can be straight, or you can, after sewing it, okay, after sewing it, you dip in the neck, give it V, any design you prefer at the back. It's by choice, guys. So we calling about 1 2. The cut off part will be thrown away. I'm not using it. I really like to label up and down. It makes it easy for me so I don't misplace it. Okay, so guys, see you on my next video. If you have not subscribed, do subscribe. And I'll be streaming, I'll be going on live stream. I'll be live streaming when sewing this dress. Most of my sewing, I do that live streaming. So if you have not subscribed, subscribe so you see when see me when I'm live sewing. Okay.